Hey there, Luke. I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about Marvin Bagley over the last few games. It seems like he's starting to make some improvements defensively. And I just wanted to see where you think his growth is coming from and kind of where the next level is for him.
Yeah, he's in the last two games. I thought he's played very well from what we're trying to accomplish on as a basketball team. He's from rotations to rebounding to communicating stuff out. I thought he's put together back-to-back really good games. He's taken charges. He's blocked some shots. And, these are the things that our team desperately needs. So for him and for all young players, now, it's about the consistency of being able to do that night in and night out. But he's definitely he's looked good. He's starting to earn more of like the trust and the belief from the coaching staff as far as being able to do those type of things. Those are things that we struggle with as a team, and a lot of young players struggle with, but it's been good to see that growth in the last few games. And now we just, we got to try to, get it as consistent as possible.
Lawrence Murray. How you doing, Luke? I wanted to ask you about the fact that both teams tonight, the Clippers, the Kings, they've struggled to defend with leads in the second half of these games over the last 2 weeks. What have you observed from the Clippers in those situations, and have you tried to address it with your own team after what happened Wednesday night?
Yeah, well, I think a lot of it honestly has to do with the amount of threes everybody shoots now. I mean, I remember, back when I was playing, it was kind of the Phoenix Suns playing that way. And every time we played them, the story was, look, no lead is ever safe, and no deficit is ever too far to overcome. Because when you shoot as many threes as a lot of teams are shooting now, we got really hot in the first quarter against Portland, but we're obviously not going to shoot 80% from three all game. And so there's going to be a lot more, I think, big runs and swings in the score like that, partially due to the amount of threes that are being shot as teams get hot and get cold throughout a game. And part of it is, just the natural, you look, through the NBA, there's rarely 20-point leads that happen in the first quarter that just play out the rest of the game as a 20-point type of blowout. There's normally, you always joke, it's like if you're going to get down big, get down early, because it's natural for another team to let down, and then your competitive juices kick in, and then a game turns out of it. So a lot of NBA games, one way or the other, will come down to those final 7-8 minutes. And I just think even more so now with the amount of threes everyone's shooting.
Hey, Luke, it's been a year and a half that Richaun Holmes has been here now. And, I mean, we kind of take for granted how he brings the same energy level and the same production almost every single night. But when you look at that moment when you decided to go with him as your starter, did you have any idea that this is how it would turn out, that he would become this productive as a player and this solid?
No. I remember talking with him, talking about him, and he'd always kind of been in a tough spot as a player because he was in Philly, but they had Embiid, and and then he was in Phoenix, but they drafted Aiden, so like there was these young cornerstones of the franchise that were drafted ahead of him. But every time I felt like we played against him, whether it was a 20-point lead or a 20-point deficit, he would come in and just make impactful plays all the time. So I was very intrigued with him, when we talked about signing with him, but I didn't think he had this amount of impact on a game, on a team, and being able to do it in a starting role is so much harder than coming off the bench and doing it. And it's been very impressive to see from him. And obviously, as a coach, you're very happy for players that are on that journey, that just never quit, never complain, never give up. And he got his opportunity and he's made the most of it.
Emerging Wisconsin.
Hey, Luke. Hello from LA. Hey, so obviously you coached Zubats for a couple of years in LA. Kind of wondering what you learned about him then, and just sort of what did you make of his development the last couple of years from afar?
Yeah, it's great to see. He's a great. He was great to coach. Hard work ethic, a really good understanding of the game. Soft hands for a big man. We could play him in different coverages. So again, happy to see him having success, and think he's a very talented big man in our league.
Jared Weiss.
The Leafs GMs today discussed the possibility of adding an extra roster slot with another two-way player. Do you think that's something that is necessary, and what advantages and disadvantages would come with that?
Well, yeah. I think it could help. The advantages are you have an extra body. The disadvantages, you're adding another person to the travel party, to the day-to-day tier one group that's always interacting. So the smaller you can keep the group, the more likely you are to get cases. But with how it's going, I mean, there's rarely any practice days anyways. And then when you get to those days, for a lot of teams right now, you don't even have the bodies to go through a practice. So the whole thing is tricky. I know the NBA is continuing to try to do everything they can to keep it safe. And then we have our responsibility as coaches and players and medical staffs too, to do our part. But yeah, I'm fine with whatever way they go with that ruling.
Sarah Hodges. Sarah can't hear you. Go on. Kyle Draper.
Hey, Coach, it's Kyle. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I have you now.
Coach, when things go south on the floor, how do you want your guys to respond? Does there need to be an emotional leader on the floor? Do they respond as a team together? Do they look to the coaching staff? How would you like your team to respond, I guess, when a team ultimately, inevitably goes on those kind of runs?
Yeah, it's important to keep your composure in that time. And that's, I think the trap that teams fall into is you try to get it all back at once. So you try to hit a home run or make a hero play, as opposed to really settling down, making sure you get something good, maybe, getting fouled. And that's something that comes with experience. You look at guys like, Kawhi Leonard or Paul George, they're not going to get rattled. They're not going to speed up and jack a three up trying to get it back at once. But these are guys that are playoff tested, battle tested. It's important for teams to understand that you need to slow down even more when the other team's on a run, as far as executing what we need to get accomplished. That comes from the whole group, coaching staff, players, whoever's on the floor. So it's something you learn over time.
Jason Anderson.
Hey, Luke, I think it's up to 12 games now, postponed just in the last 6 days. Where's your level of confidence that, or uncertainty that you guys are going to be able to get through this season without, maybe doing something drastic to complete it again?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's one of those things. Again, Jason, we know the reality of where we're at, but we've also, the NBA has proven to be able to pull off incredible things. So, to me, I put that in the box of controlling what we can control, not spending too much time on what we can't be, with some of that stuff. And for us to do our part on that is to stay home, is to wear our face masks when we are out, whether it's running an errand or whatnot. To not to be out at restaurants, like that's what we can control as a group. And then wherever the league goes as a whole is obviously going to be determined on the amount of cases that come, the safety and all of that stuff. But the amount of games we're playing and where the things we have to focus on, we're aware of that, and it does, it naturally will weigh on people, but we try as much as we can to, to focus on the day and the task we have to get done, which tonight is the Clipper game.
Any thoughts on Karl Anthony Towns today disclosing that he had tested positive, and just, how the hardship he's been through?
Yeah, I mean, you feel for him. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's definitely, you have to be aware of it, and it's always a personal choice. I mean, listen, nobody's going to judge anybody if certain players decide to not play. But as a whole, we've decided to keep moving forward. But yeah, you feel for him. What he's been through, what a lot of people have been through. What I'm sure every single one of you guys by now knows somebody that has had it. So it's real, and it's it's an emotion that affects people. But as of right now, as a league, this is what we've decided, and we have to keep doing everything we can to be as safe as possible, be compassionate, and do our part.
All right, the last one, Tony Harvey.
Yeah, Coach Walton. I want to go back to the Rashawn Holmes subject. I just want to get your commentary on such players like this. You did mention something significant as him playing in Philadelphia, then moving on to Phoenix, where these guys, you know that they're good, but they just don't seem to be in the right place at the right time. And then Rashawn, he falls into your hands in Sacramento, and he flourished, he blossomed. Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about players who's, in that mode, where they trying to break out, and trying to be expose their skills?
Yeah, well, it's, you got to give most of the credit to the players. As far as, there's two ways you can look at it. He can go through his career and be like, it's not fair. I got a raw deal here, and then I got a raw deal there, where you can, continue to use those opportunities as learning experiences, and know that when your time comes, you're going to be as ready as possible. And I think that, that's part of why he has the personality and the attitude that he has, is he's grateful. He's happy. Like, every single game we play, he is thrilled to be out there on that court. And sometimes it takes, going through hard situations like that to develop that mindset. And I don't know if he had that the whole time, or if that was part of his journey, but to use those as learning opportunities, as opposed to just coming up with excuses, I think speaks a lot to who he is as a person and a player.